Hey, welcome back, StrengthLabbers. Subject for today is the most important topic when it comes to health and fitness. It's the most important topic when it comes to longevity. It's nutrition. There's a lot of opinions on nutrition. For as many people as there are, there's that many opinions. What you're looking for when it comes to nutrition are facts. What you're looking for is evidence. What we mostly find and what we mostly hear are uneducated opinions or biased opinions. And uneducated, speaks for itself. These people don't have a background in physiology. They don't have a background in nutrition. They really have no framework to be having any kind of an opinion because they don't have a foundation for what they're talking about. The other type of individual is biased. In other words, they're making some money from having an opinion, and a lot of times having a strong opinion and then coming up with conjecture and falsehoods and anything that supports that opinion because it makes them more money. So what I want to get to is where the evidence is. In 1907, there was a Wall Street Journal article, you're welcome to look it up, that stated that animal proteins are not good for human health. We've had over 100 years now of some of the best minds in nutrition and science researching exactly that subject. There are hundreds, in fact, somewhere around 700 really well done studies. And when we're talking about well done studies, we're talking about studies that were done by the right people for the right reasons in the right way. Without getting into the science and the different types of experiments that they can do and how long the experiments last and what was the hypothesis before they started and how they tried to go about it. Let's not get into all that, but just know there's good science out there, and then there's junk science out there, the stuff that the media reports, that's junk science. So when one week they say one thing due to research and the next week they say something else due to research, a lot of the times, and most of the time, they're using junk science and they're using biased opinions. Biased individuals who have money involved in the results that they're reporting. So if we're just going to go on hard facts, we're just going to go by how the physiology of the human being works and also on the studies and what we found as far as longevity and disease and health go, this is what it's saying. And this is what I recommend that you do. Eat whole food, plant-based food. Eat no animal proteins to very little animal proteins. There's so much I can say on this subject, but I want to keep this video short enough without it becoming too laborious as far as the details. I think just getting the framework out there is most important, and then we can touch on other things as we move along. But what you need to know about whole food plant-based, it's not exactly vegetarian. That's even another topic for another time. There's overlap between the two, but there's also a lot of differences. So let's just stick to the whole food plant-based approach for now and kind of define it. And what that would look like is all the vegetables are on the menu. If you hear someone say that potatoes are too starchy, they don't know what they're talking about. Eat vegetables, whole vegetables. So for instance, a whole vegetable, a whole potato would be exactly what it is in any of its varieties and any of its colors. Where a processed vegetable would be or a processed potato would be something like mashed potatoes. And then it can go further down the line as well as far as processing and become even less healthy for you when they add butter and animal proteins. The most nutritious food there is, with the most micronutrients, are vegetables, and green vegetables especially, with the antioxidants and the fiber and the phenols and the plant sterols and the bioflavonoids that you find in fruits and things of that nature. There's nothing that we can engineer. Human engineering cannot make this type of food. So again, supplements would be one of those things we're going to talk about later. Quit eating supplements. Quit taking supplements. They are inferior in every way, and in many cases not good for you. But again, we digress. Let's stick to the whole food plant-based approach. So what that's going to look like is eating a lot of vegetables. By far, that is the most important group of food you should be eating from. Fruits are a second, and not that distant of a second. Again, full of all kinds of things we don't even have names for, nor do we understand what they do in the body. You know, when you pull out vitamin C from an orange and you think that's the best thing in it, you're confused, especially when you're taking a supplement for it. There's hundreds, if not thousands, in fact, 20,000 chemicals in an orange. You can't put that in a supplement. We don't even have names for most of those chemicals. We don't know what those chemicals do, but guess what? Your body does. Your body knows exactly what to do when you put a magical orange into it. Instead, you're gonna go eat some protein bar, you're gonna go eat some human engineered marketing, let's leave it a garbage. Consider that for a minute. You're gonna take what nature intended in its normal packaging, its healthy packaging in its natural state, and you think you're gonna be able to do better? Human engineering is gonna be able to do better? Not even close. They're taking a few things out of something and trying to make it healthy through marketing. It's not the case. Eat your vegetables, eat your fruits. Next in line would be beans, legumes. You can eat all of those you want. Add those to your salads. Full of fiber, full of protein, full of all kinds of good stuff. If you don't have a weight problem, or if you can use the calories, such as you're an athlete or you're an adolescent who's growing, raw nuts and seeds are fantastic, but they're very caloric. So if you're looking to lose weight, I don't recommend that. Whole grains. Whole grains are something that you can certainly partake in. There's dozens of really good ones that you can use. You can put those on the salads as well, and you can make dishes out of them. But people get confused on what it is that a whole grain is. So they'll end up eating processed grains instead. So bread is a processed grain. If you have a wheat berry in your hand and it still looks like wheat berry, then it's the whole grain. If it's in something such as bread, it's been processed. If you have barley, or if you have rye in your hand and it still looks like barley or it still looks like rye, then you've got a whole grain. Brown rice, mixed rice, wild rice, things of that nature. White rice, very processed. You get where we're going here. So, but without a doubt, the thing that is the most nutritious is vegetables. And if you're trying to lose weight, that's where you want to be too with the fruits and vegetables, because if you have a stomach, imagine 3 stomachs in front of you. And in that first stomach, you put 400 calories of oil, processed oil, and all oils are junk. Make no mistake about it. Olive oil, junk. Don't believe the media. You take 400 calories in that stomach, you got that much oil down there. Not much volume. Move over and you take that same stomach and you put 400 calories worth of animal protein, say chicken or beef in it, and you've got about that much volume. Doesn't take up much. And again, there's no micronutrients in that, and there's no fiber in that, and there's even carcinogenic effects of that meat on you and your digestive tract. And again, we won't go down that road right now, but we'll talk about it later. And then in the next stomach, you can fill that completely full of vegetables. 400 calories, completely full. The volume that it takes up and the micronutrients that it provides, there's nothing like it. So when someone tells you you should be eating high protein, low carb, they're flat out wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. And guess what? That's pretty much what everybody's eating. And guess what? Pretty much everybody's fat. Pretty much everybody's on medication. And everybody's looking for something. You know, they have no energy. They don't feel good. They're in a fog. Depressed, you name it. That's animal proteins and low carb. Guess what? Your body only runs on glucose. So if you're putting in a bunch of protein that has no nutrition in it, no fiber in it, and then your body has to use gluconeogenesis to try to make some glucose out of it, you're failing your body when it comes to putting in what it needs. So what we want to do is stay away from the animal proteins. That's a macronutrient. We're after micronutrients. As a macronutrient, I've never seen anybody walk through my door and have a deficiency in protein. So why are you taking more of it? And the funny thing about protein is it's so magical because of the marketing. There's nothing magical about protein at all. It's not healthy. You just have this big following parroting one another, and it's become very popular since the 60s and 70s, and the Atkins diet and the South Beach diet and the paleo diet. These are horrible diets. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. Paleo diet, that entire book, I've read it, I giggled all the way through it. That is not based on science, that's based on some man's opinion. And it's complete fiction. There wasn't a bunch of animal protein back in the day, back where everybody was eating protein like cavemen. That's not how it was. You could barely catch anything. You were eating whatever you could forage, and typically that was plants. Not only that, I mean, we could go on, but just touch real quick on the human anatomy and physiology. Do you have fangs? Are you coniferous? Are you like a cat? If I fed a cat a vegetarian diet, I would kill it in short order. It's not a vegetarian. It eats meat. If I put a human being on only protein like I would a cat, I will kill the human being in short order because we are not meat eaters. So there's the rub. You can go with what you've been doing, which what most Americans do. I'm from Iowa. I grew up on cows and pigs and meat, milk, things like that. It's not where the evidence is. So I'm 45 years old. I'm on no medications. I have no body composition issues. I supplement with no protein. If you supplement with protein, you're still confused and lost. You have plenty of protein in your diet. If you are going to ask me where do I get my protein from, which inevitably somebody does, and I'm okay with that as long as you understand and hear the message, you get your protein from the same place that the animals got their protein when you ate them. So when you eat a chicken, or when you eat a cow, or when you eat a pig, where did that animal get its protein? It didn't just materialize it in its body out of nowhere. It ate it from plants. That's where protein comes from. All plants, all vegetables, all fruits, all grains, all beans, all nuts and seeds have a amino acid profile. And amino acids are what proteins are made of. So consider that. If you get your protein from vegetables and from fruits and from beans and from raw nuts and seeds and whole grains, you are eating the way nature intended you to eat, without the chemicals, without the additives, without the artificial BS, and with all the marketing opinion that goes with it. I'm going to end it on that note, but if you want to lose weight and you want to be healthy, that's how you're going to eat. The other thing that you want to keep in mind before we do sign off on this is, in the end, it's a calorie game. That's what this is all about. So when somebody puts you on a high protein diet or a high fat diet, they're really controlling for calories. What you really should be doing, and we can touch more on that too in a different segment, but what you really need to be doing is focusing on high carb, not processed carb. All those things I just mentioned, vegetables, fruits, those are carbs. Those are the carbs you should be eating, not processed carbs and not fats. And a lot of times people confuse carbs with fats. So when you say, oh yeah, I just got to quit eating as many carbs as I eat, well, you're not eating the whole plant-based carbs that I'm talking about. You're eating pizza, which by the way isn't a carb, it's a fat. When the majority of the carbs come from fat, or excuse me, the majority of the calories come from fat, it makes it a fat. So if you're eating donuts, if you're eating French fries, if you're eating potato chips, those are carbohydrates that are laden with oils, which are fat, and that's where your calories are coming from. So those are fats, not carbs. So there's processed carbs that are a problem, and there's processed fats that are a problem. And then if you combine the two, it's a nightmare. Stick to the whole food, plant-based items, and not only will you be healthy, you're going to lose weight, you won't be on medications. If you're on medications, you're going to start to reverse those medications and then add a fitness program afterwards. But make no mistake about it, the most important thing you can do for your health is nutrition. It's not fitness. Fitness is important, but nutrition is more important. If I don't work out for the next 30 days, I'm going to be fine. If I stop eating and drinking in 30 days, I will be dead. Consider that. Nutrition is more important than fitness, and my job is fitness. Nutrition is more important. It is your responsibility to take care of your health, not only for you, but for those who depend on you. Until next time.